Hi, I'm Marie. Welcome to Marie's Kitchen. I'm so glad you're back. Today we're making Texas Caviar, also called Cowboy Caviar, and this is a classic Texas recipe. It has been around for ages, but it is really having a moment right now on social media. It has gone viral on TikTok and Instagram, and with good reason. It is such a delicious, colorful dish, and my favorite thing about this recipe is that it is so great for make ahead. If you have a party, a tailgate, a potluck coming up, make it the day before, make it the morning before, throw it in the fridge, then take it with you and it is ready to enjoy. I can't wait for you to try it. Let's get started. First step, I always like to go through the ingredients so you can make sure you have everything you need. We'll need 1 can of black-eyed peas, and you want to rinse and drain those. I use a little strainer like this and just run some water over them and put them in a bowl. The main reason you want to rinse and drain them is want any of that canning liquid in the dish. That would really water it down. So be sure to drain them and rinse them before you use them. Same for the black beans. You'll need 1 can of that rinsed and drained, and 1 can of corn rinsed and drained as well. You could use fresh corn if you happen to have some. It's about 15 ounces. Next up is a red bell pepper. You can use yellow or orange or green. We'll also use 1 to 2 jalapenos. These guys are huge, so I'll probably just use 1. Next is a red onion. We'll dice that up. And one tip on that, keep this in your refrigerator before you use it, and that will neutralize the compounds in onions that make you cry. So no crying while you're chopping. We'll also need some tomatoes. You can use cherry tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, whatever you have around. We'll need about 1 cup of diced tomatoes. Then we're going to use some cilantro, and of course that is optional. I know people have strong feelings about cilantro, so if you want to use it, you can. We'll use about 1/2 cup of leaves for that. Next step is a vinaigrette, and you can make the vinaigrette yourself if you like, just oil and vinegar, maybe some garlic and some herbs, salt and pepper, or you can use a bottle of your favorite vinaigrette. Really anything will work. You can use an Italian dressing, or like I'm using here, this is a local company called Cookwell & Company. And it's here in Austin, Texas, and they have a Hatch chili vinaigrette that I really like, and it kind of adds some spice and flavor to this dish. So we can use that today. They also have a honey lime vinaigrette, which would be delicious, add a little sweetness to it. So that's an option, but really whatever vinaigrette you have will work. Finally, for some garnish, we have some green onions. We'll just kind of chop those up and put them on top. So it's a pretty simple list of ingredients, and there are several that you can keep in your pantry. Have them on hand, and then you can whip this up whenever you're in the mood. All right, let's get cooking. So let's start by just putting our black-eyed peas and black beans and corn into a large bowl. We'll just pop those right in. And while we're doing that, I'll tell you the story behind this recipe. So there is a famous cookbook author and chef named Ellen Corbett, and she worked at the Neiman Marcus restaurant in Dallas, and they wanted her to come up with a menu using only Texas ingredients, one of them being black-eyed peas. Well, she didn't like black-eyed peas, and so what she came up with was what she called Texas Caviar, and that was the black-eyed peas marinated in a vinaigrette with some onions and garlic. And so it was started out as a very, very simple recipe. She served it with chips, and it was a hit. So that's how this recipe started. You can see it has really evolved, and now people add lots more ingredients, but it really does start as simple as just marinated black-eyed peas. So do keep in mind that if you don't have all the ingredients on hand, you can make it with as few or as many ingredients as you like. So there's our first 3 ingredients. Now we'll start the chopping. There is a bit of chopping in this, but you know what I do is I just turn on some music or one of my favorite TV shows, and I'll just do that while I'm chopping, and it's really kind of a nice meditation. So, and we'll also take this opportunity to kind of show you some tips for chopping, because it's always good to learn some new tricks for chopping, isn't it? So the way I chop a bell pepper is, the goal is to avoid all those seeds in the center. And so what I do is about sort of a 1/2 inch out, I just go straight down like this. You can see the seeds and pith in here. We're going to try to avoid that. We're going to do that by just chopping down on the sides like this. This one has a bit more pith, so we'll kind of go around that. I can see it and kind of go around it like that. And the same thing on this edge. And then we've got the bottom here. We can use that. And that is the center of your bell pepper that we do not need. We'll throw that in the trash. So really easy. Now for these, it's a little harder to cut through the skin, so you might want to turn it this way and cut down into just some strips here. We have these, and then we'll take these strips and then just cut those into some little dice. All right, there's our red bell pepper. Now we'll put that into our bowl here. Okay, next step, let's cut some jalapenos. So this, you can do actually a similar technique where you just go around the edges and try to avoid the seeds and pith. Usually do better once I get that first strip cut. And I'll probably leave a few seeds in there. I like to add a little bit of spice. Lately, my jalapenos have not been very spicy, so I don't mind adding a little bit of the seeds in there. We'll just cut these into a little bit smaller so the strips, so the pieces are nice and small. So we've got our jalapenos here chopped up. We're just going to pop these in the bowl. And that is a really big jalapeno, so I'm not going to use two. I'm just going to use the one. And I think I will give my hands a quick rinse. Next step, we'll chop the red onion, and for onions, I actually use a different cutting board. I can't stand when onion is in the cutting board and it makes all like my fruit taste like onion, so I actually use a different cutting board for onion. Is that a little OCD? I don't know, but that's what we do. So for a red onion, what I'm gonna do is, like I said, put this in the fridge before you use it. It can be an hour before, it can be the night before, and that will neutralize the compounds that make you cry. So no crying while we're cutting the onion is good. I'm just gonna cut off that end here. The stem end is here, and then we're just gonna cut down like that. And I'm just gonna use half the red onion here. We're gonna peel off the skin. Came off nice and easy, and then this area will hold it together so it's easier to chop. Pour the onions in. Okay, next step is cherry tomatoes, or any tomatoes that you have. We're going to use about a cup diced. For cherry tomatoes, it's about 20, so we'll just sit here and chop these up kind of small if we can. The tomatoes are done. We'll pop those into our bowl here. There we go. Next step is some cilantro. If you like it, if not, totally fine to leave it out. Now we'll add the vinaigrette, and I'm going to use the Hatch chili vinaigrette made by Cookwell and Company. Just give that a shake. And I use about a cup, which sounds like a lot, but you want this to be nice and marinated. You can use less if you want, or if that's all you have. This is a little bit less than 1 cup. So I'm just going to pour that over the salad. It smells really good. Get a nice spoon and give that a toss. Let's grab some salt, add that in there. Now that will just marinate, all the flavors will combine and soften and just become so delicious. Looks amazing. So we can have a little taste and see if it needs extra salt. We're just going to try it here on some tortilla chips. Such a great combination of flavors. A little bit of heat, a little bit of sweet from the corn. The dressing is delicious. I'll add a little extra salt. Nice and crunchy. Really yummy. All right, now for serving, we'll just pour that over to a nice serving bowl. I love my white serving bowls. They make everything look better. So we'll use a nice white serving bowl here. Pour that in. I have one more taste here. Yum. So delicious. Now for even extra color and flavor, you can add some green onions on for a little garnish. And that is ready to go with a big bowl of chips. I am ready for a party. Can you find me a party? Because I am ready. Thanks so much for joining us on Marie's Kitchen. Today we made the internet famous Texas Caviar. Helen Corbett would be so proud. I really hope you get to try this one. It is easy and delicious and perfect for any party. If you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate your likes. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know what else you'd like to see, or if you get to try this recipe. I would always love to hear from you. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got lots more videos coming up, and I don't want you to miss any of them. For this recipe and more, check out my website, mariesaba.com. There you can go and print out this recipe and all my recipes, print them out, punch holes in them, put them in a notebook, and make your very own Marie's Kitchen cookbook for free. My goal is to give you some really easy recipes that turn out great every time, so you can build some confidence in the kitchen and feel really inspired to share good food with people that you love. From my kitchen to yours, thank you.